Well, I've not used this old Case 580 in a long time. It's sat here, I think I haven't used it probably since October. It's March now. It's finally a good warm day. It's been real cold and I just had too much other stuff going on to mess with it. And I've got to go through this thing. I'm going to check all the fluids and get it ready to fire up and hope that everything works. So it hasn't been out in a long time. It's been sitting here. I've had it on a battery maintainer the whole time, which is on this side. So I keep this thing, this is just a cheap little Harbor Freight battery maintainer, and I keep it on there all the time. Well, as soon as I get off it, that's the first thing I do is put the battery maintainer back on it, because these batteries have gotten really expensive and it just helps a lot. It helps. I keep it on everything now, and it has saved me quite a bit of money. Instead of every year having to buy batteries, it's every couple years now. So that's really helped. So I'm gonna go through this thing, I'm gonna check all the fluids and get it ready to hopefully fire up. And I really just need to get it out of the way to move the boat, but I'm gonna do some work with it while I got it out. So I'm gonna check the oil, make sure the oil's good, haven't been fired up or anything. So the oil, I changed it not long ago. It's still good. Probably could use just a touch, but we'll see. I'm not gonna worry about that right now. Went through, I checked. This thing don't work, the float's gone. And it obviously does not work on the dash. The wiring in this thing's a mess, as you can see. So I checked the fuel, we got enough fuel. Went through, checked the radiator fluid. It was about a gallon low. I'm not sure, evaporation and whatever, but I know this thing doesn't have a reservoir, so it boils out quite a bit, and I always overfill it just to be cautious. So it was probably only a half gallon low. Came over here, took this plug out, and just to check and make sure we had hydraulic fluid. It's not really in the right position, but I like to check and just make sure. And I don't really, I think the book says in the travel position to check with this fill line, if I remember right. I just keep it full, however it's set normally. And normally it's, I don't know what I guess the travel position would be the bucket up, the boom up, and curled in, but close enough. So this thing's got enough reservoir on both sides. I don't think it matters too much. That's just my non-professional opinion. So hydraulic fluid was good. It came running out, as you can see. I was assuming it would be low because I've got a cylinder back here that's leaking. This one right here has been leaking. I don't know if you can see it now, but just sitting here, it's been leaking for some reason. And this one I repacked probably, I got this thing 2013, 2014. So it's been about 10 years ago I repacked that one. All right, so we got the oil covered, we got fuel, radiator fluid, hydraulic fluid, which I'm gonna let it run for a while, because if that has been leaking, it could have leaked down an entire cylinder's worth of fluid, because it's been leaking for a while, just kind of real slow. So I'm gonna run it and then I'll check it again. Now going back over to the other side, over here is the power steering. Check that. It looks good. And it's full. Looks pretty clean. So I have noticed the power steering leak too. This thing leaks about everywhere. And I've repacked this cylinder, swing cylinder, dip cylinder, I think it's called. These, knock on wood, these have been good. I put about $1,000 of hoses on this thing the year before last, and it still needs more, as you can see. It's just one of those things. I don't use it a ton, but it's just an old machine, and it just takes some love. Every time you get it out, you gotta wonder what's gonna happen next time. So let's see. I think that's about everything I normally check on these things. I mean, I'm gonna go through and check. I've obviously got to grease 5,000 fittings if I'm going to use this thing in bunch, which I just greased it not long ago, so I've just got to push a little bit and I'll be done with it for today. And then before I use it again, I'll grease everything. But it's like I could spend a whole day on a video trying to find all the grease fittings on this thing, because they're everywhere. So it takes about 3 or 4 tubes of grease to really go through this thing, go through everything and grease all the fittings. Not to mention there's a ton of them in here too, and your sticks. So I think that's everything I need to go through right now, just to fire it up and pull it out and let it warm up and then check the fluid again. So this old girl does not like to start. So she's gonna get a little help. Just a little. That's about all it takes. All right, so we got her up on here. This is, you're supposed to be able to warm the glow plugs up. I don't think it works. So gas, just a touch. I'll be dang. Well, we got her out and she seems to be running good. So I was really worried about this cylinder right here. I think this is the dip. I can't ever remember the names of them. But it was leaking pretty bad, and you saw me cycle it a couple times to get all the fluid and all the air out. So hopefully it was just a fluke thing. Got some trash in that seal and it was just dripping a little bit, and I won't have to repack it again. But if we do, we do. And I did notice on one of my videos, somebody commented, I don't remember, it's been years ago, commented about how cheap I said the seals were. Well, that was years ago, way before COVID. So that's about the price they were back then, but now they're about $60, $70 to get a seal pack, a seal kit for these things. Well, she did good. I was proud of her. No problems, no issues, thankfully. And it looks like the seal I was concerned about back here still holding up. I even used the backhoe a little bit to rip up a few trees, and it seems to be holding pretty good. You can see where it was leaking, but it's holding up so far. We'll keep an eye on it. But the little girl did good. Well, that's going to be it for this one. Just a little short one of getting the backhoe out for the first time this year. And I just really needed to get it out of the way of the boat and push up my big burn pile where I've been clearing land. So hopefully it won't be in the way of the garden this year, and I won't wreck something on a tree stump like I've about done every year for the last 5 years. So hopefully that's good. But as you can see, I'll show you here. So pear trees are starting to bloom. So if you're a fisherman, you know what that means. It's almost crappie season. So got to get the boat out, get the boat cleaned up, and hopefully here shortly, we're gonna go catch some crappie. Well, I hope you found something helpful, found something entertaining, and I hope you liked the video. Just a little short one of getting this thing out for the first time this year, and just kind of what I do. I'm no expert mechanic by any means, but just kind of what I do to get it ready every year, to check everything. And if you're looking at one of these, now you know hopefully kind of around what to check. So hope you liked the video. Please subscribe, and we'll see you next time.